when you buy cheap materials, you get that type of result, or longevity of the product. Certain paints are not going to last 10 years. Paint should last minimum 10 years before you have to paint something again. Light fixtures, if you got LED lights where it's like no light bulb replacement, then they should last for quite a while. I can't remember, but more than 10 years. So you have to look at how much you want to spend and what are you trying to spend to. Are you trying to spend to sell where it's somebody else's liability? Need some okay, let me buy it. And then, they dealt with the low quality light bulbs or fixtures or what have you. And some people cover up stuff. I was working in this one house where there was a leak, a roof leak, and it was coming inside the interior wall of the home, and the sheetrock on the wall was like spongy, and it was crazy because I was just like, man, if you well, they had the house inspected, but you can't catch everything. I felt like it was a lot of stuff covered up on the house, but when somebody wants something, they get what they want, and that's a lesson. Don't be so pressed about having to have something that you put yourself in a bind when you get it, or to get it, because you end up paying way more than you thought you would, and it becomes not a good deal. How about that? Moving forward, so and that takes me to the integrity of the business. I look at some people. I was in another customer's house, and they were selling a house, and there was this mechanism that went bad in the home, and they called me out like, hey, look, we're moving out today. This thing just broke. I do not want to turn this house over with this thing not working when it was working before. So the day of them to turn the keys over, I'm there that morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning, trying to help them get this thing worked out or what have you. So we got it sufficiently functionable. There was no place to buy the actual part. There was, not for that day, not at your main suppliers. So it was a special order, and with COVID, there's a lot of stuff that it just takes forever to get on site. So that was not an option. But the integrity on one half was I want to do the right thing. The integrity on the other half was I don't do the right thing. Matter of fact, with the bailout of my friend and helping him with his property, it was based on people walking off the job after taking a deposit and not finishing, and that's just poor work integrity. That's why you have to have contracts when hiring people that with whom you, period, whether you're familiar with them or not, you have to have, or a certain level of trust for them to do the work. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to fork over money, especially when you get into the thousands of dollars. Like, if you got a $10,000 fence and you put down $5,000, like, hey, I need some assurances for this $5,000. That's, that's not like $50, okay, whatever. But a lot of times we so busy putting the cart before the horse that the cart is stuck and can't be used, meaning projects get stuck. Now, if it's a material issue, that's one thing. But if it's a labor issue, that's another thing. That's integrity. Even if it's to the point of, something being hidden behind the wall. I've opened up staircases and all sorts of Coke bottles, coffee cups, lumber trash from saw cutting and sheetrock cutting and tape and paper and just miscellaneous stuff just hidden behind walls because somebody just didn't want to clean it up. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, of course I clean it up when I do it, but it's like, this is the integrity of this person's work. Some people are just about the money. There's another company that took $60,000 deposit for a remodel on these people's homes for a kitchen and bathroom and some other areas. They took the money. These people have not been in their homes for 2 years and going through trying to recoup their money. They've been staying in a hotel out of pocket. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Who has money to stay out of their home like that? Who wants to spend money for 2 years outside of their home because somebody was unethical? And it's just like, sometimes you say, God, like, how can these things be? And sometimes we want to get in that mindset of, how could you let this happen, God? But that's not a God thing. That's a us thing. That's a choice we made. We didn't choose to do our homework. We didn't choose to think about the situation before we got into it. We made choices, and with those choices come repercussions. So it's just not good. It's not good to have lack of integrity, to not finish someone else's job. I mean, to not finish the customer's job within reasonable time frame. Again, if there's a material shortage or something like that, where it's like all I can do is one thing. There's no sense in coming over there for one thing when I'm waiting on this vanity or mirror or whatever where I need to, orchestrate all this. Part of my reasoning of coming into this business was working for people who had low character in business and just didn't value the human aspect of people are going to live in this house. People want to feel valued as a human being when they're renting or purchasing this home. No one takes a mortgage out on a house in order to have to spend a whole bunch of more money just when they get in it, unless they're getting a good deal on it, whereas they can afford to make the repairs themselves and profit that way. But at the end of the day, is money everything? Yes, it's a tool that is required for transaction of goods and services and materials and utilities, taxes, or what have you, wherever you stay. But at the same time, it's not worth losing sleep over. It's not worth losing the integrity of your business. I'm a firm believer in my business. My name is my business. My word is my business. And I will walk on a job, but if I walk on a job, I walk on a job because I didn't let you pay me. Like, you keep that. You can't say nothing bad. You can say something bad about me, but you won't be able to say I screwed you out of any money. I've done services and walked from, because it's like, one, we not meeting the terms agreed upon, so I'm gonna take this as what I paid for tuition in the School of Hard Knocks. If the energy's off and I feel like somebody's talking to me some type of way where they may cause a reaction from me that is not respectful, I'll walk from the job. Even if I've completed it, I was just like, no payment required. Have a good day. I had a lady, she's like, what does that mean? I was like, yeah, it does mean I'm not coming back. Oh, okay. And I'm choosy about with whom I work or for whom I work, because at the end of the day, no one wants to be mistreated or handled improperly. And when you leave people with their integrity, because they know what they did, she know what she did on that one, and on the other, he know what he did on that one. So, and as a matter of fact, I made sure I broke it down to and I talked about this on one of the other videos, but I broke it down to the guy. I was just like, look, these are the terms. You're not meeting the terms. So for the services rendered, you keep the money, because obviously you have some sort of issue with paying for services rendered and the terms agreed upon. So you're agreeing upon things to get me to manipulate me to do the work that you want done, but you don't want to fulfill your end of the bargain because you feel like you're going to get burned or something. So it's like, the work is done. So I'm not asking you for anything that hadn't been done. And I can sleep with myself with that. And sometimes the devil will try and throw it up, oh, you should go get your money. Like, nah. Let them live with that. Let them live with that burden. I forgive it and I press forward. There's too much other things to do. God is my source, not them. And you just have to believe. You just have to believe that God's provision is there. I'm not going to say I don't get in as a self-employed contractor. I don't get in sticky situations. If I get sick or hurt, I'm down. I'm the biggest cog of my business. And being a hands-on laborer, my health is truly my wealth. And if I don't have my body to be in optimum capacity to perform, I am not a well-oiled machine in business. So I tell you, make sure when you're going into business, you think about these variables when you're, even as even working for a company. Everybody's your customer. Everybody's your customer. Your colleagues, your boss, they're your customer. No matter where you are your own business. You are your own business. Your level of work and integrity of work talks about you. It doesn't talk about anybody else. It talks about you. You can't blame anything on anybody else that you were responsible for. If you're on a team, then guess what? There are protocols for saying, hey, this is what's trying to be done. This is what's not getting done. These are the responsibilities, because it's accountability. And when you recognize you're put on a team where people aren't producing, maybe you need to find another team. Or maybe you need to talk to the supervisor and say, hey, look, I don't mind working. I appreciate the opportunity to work. But at the same time, it's like, hey, I'm only obligated to do this per the meeting on such and such a day. This is my portion. I don't know how to complete the rest of the task without the other parts. So can you please guide, instruct, or what have you? And I know there's this term about throwing people under the bus, snitching, backstabbing, or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, guess what? You got to be accountable for that. And one thing I realized, grown people are responsible for what they do or do not do. I have committed to myself that I'm no longer taking responsibility for other grown folks' choices, decisions, and repercussions from those choices and decisions. You make that choice, not me. And it's not about being an island, but it is about at what point do I keep doing everybody else's job and going home and not having enough self-care or energy for whatever needs to be done at home, whether dealing with the children, domestic things that need to be done, cleaning up around my house, maintenance in my house, whatever. There's certain things that just need to be done, and it's not fair to keep doing everybody else's stuff and you can't take care of your own. And I mean, at the same time, if God says, hey, stand in the gap for this person, help this situation out, pray about everything, and even let that be an experience for if you want to endeavor with somebody in the future. Sometimes people do have a bad day, and if you can't help somebody cover for a bad day, then guess what? That shows your level of commitment to the job, the team, the friendship, whatever it is. It shows your character. One way, good or bad, it shows your character. So, I'll say this. If you don't feel comfortable about it, don't do it. Gut check. If it's not policy, don't do it. If it compromises your values, don't do it. At the end of the day, you need to have peace of mind for the decision you make in your life. And your business is your business. If you do not know your business, you should not be in business. Whether working for someone else, working for yourself. And if you do work for somebody else, if you do work for yourself, you're working for everybody. Because whoever hires you is your customer. All right, have a good one.